The night is dark and full of spoilers. I'm Danielle Radford, and this is Screen Junkies News. The new trailer for Season 7 of Game of Thrones has dropped, and it gives us such a clear idea of what to expect in the next season that we gotta throw on a spoiler alert. But have no fear, we are here to break it down for you. Joining me today are Mary Risk and DJ Wooldridge. Hello, you guys.
Hello.
Oh my God. So the trailer's amazing.
Yes.
If you haven't seen it, we've got it down below. Go ahead and click that link. Come on back over with us. So the way we're going to start breaking this down, because there is so much information in the trailer and they move around a lot between kind of the central set pieces, that we are going to combine some of those ideas to get a clearer picture of what we might expect from Season 7. So, first of all, we get to see, we open on that great shot of Sansa.
Yes, Sansa!
Yeah, that great shot of Sansa in Winterfell.
I love her. I love who she's become over the last 6 seasons. I can't wait to see where she goes. This is such a cool way to start this trailer.
Oh, isn't it just? And then it's got like that great narration. What can you tell me about that?
So we've got, you know, the quote coming from, we're pretty sure is Littlefinger, where he says, "Don't fight in the north or the south, fight every battle everywhere, always in your mind."
Brain power.
You know, I think we're seeing Sansa come into power this season, and I think that sort of plays into it is what kind of power is she going to come into? You know, is she going to be the person that Littlefinger wants to be, that queen that fights every battle everywhere in her mind, or is she going to be sort of who she was born in to be, this queen in the north? I think we're going to really see some interesting things from Sansa in that power struggle this season, and in figuring out her relationship with Littlefinger.
I want her to get away from Littlefinger.
So much.
I don't like
so much.
They make me feel uncomfortable. But I think part of the reason this trailer is so great, it's cheating a little bit because it's using that amazing Light of the Seven song. Which if you have that in your back pocket, you want to like use it because it just sets an amazing tone. It just gets you so excited. Like the second the music starts playing, you're like, this is gonna be so good.
Yeah, and it puts you in that world immediately. You're just there and ready.
Yeah, like right at the end of the last season, you're like, okay, I'm back in. Like you've gotten me, I got it. So so next we get to see Jon Snow, the King of the North. So first off, we start with this right here. What can you tell me about some of this?
We're up at Castle Black. Obviously winter has come, but you know, Castle Black is still the same winter it's always been. And we get to see some of Jon fighting some battles in the north, some battles north of the wall, which I think is really exciting. Now, there is a great shot shortly after this where you've got Jon sort of looking back at the wall, waiting for somebody. We don't really know who he's waiting for, but there's a lot of snow and ice in his hair. It looks like he's been out there for a while.
He's really channeling the King Beyond the Wall vibe right there. Like he's reminding me a lot of that. And there's a voiceover with it that I'm gonna have to read it. For centuries, our families fought together against their common enemy, despite their differences together. We need to do the same if we're going to survive. I feel like that he's probably referencing like way back in the old days when they were specifically referencing the White Walkers.
Right.
Yeah.
And those and the First Men.
Yeah, and how people needed to really unite against them because they're scary.
They are so scary. They are so scary.
Well, and that's like we've gotten from Jon a little bit of the previous promos too, is sort of this idea that the Great War is still to come, and like that's the war we need to be fighting, and that's the war north of the wall, not the war of who sits on the Iron Throne.
Right, and we do have that. We've got a little bit, we could see a great picture of, so we got Jon there, and then we have that right there, which,
so that is terrifying White Walker of internet GIF meme fandom. We saw him, you know, very early on when we very first saw the White Walkers with his really long hair and that crazy spear. We can't tell who he's fighting. I hope it's Jon.
Yeah, right?
We're rooting for Jon.
Tormund. Like, it could be great if it's Tormund.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Didn't Jon kill that White Walker? Isn't that the one, or they just do White Walkers rock a similar do? Is that?
I mean, that's possible.
Somebody in the comments down below, let me know name all the White Walkers for me, and then let me know which one Jon killed.
I don't know what hairstyles are trending for the White Walkers.
Yeah.
Maybe it's
like a White Walker boy
You know what?
band.
They should get a man bun. It's going around.
Oh my God, White Walker man bun.
See,
guys, this is going to be the new style.
It's amazing. All the White Walkers just talking like, oh, I got my undercut done by blah, blah, blah. So now, after we've seen this amazing chunk of Jon Snow, the next we see, so we see Dany right there.
Daenerys.
Now, Mary, what can you tell me about what's happening right
So
here.
Daenerys is at Dragonstone. We've been saying all along Daenerys is going to Dragonstone. Daenerys is at Dragonstone. That is the same table that we saw Stannis planning war on way back when. And
He doesn't need it anymore.
Turns out.
Oh no, he's gone.
Yeah.
But so it's really cool. We get a lot of sort of like a lone brooding Dany at Dragonstone in this trailer. We haven't seen Daenerys, like Emilia Clarke Daenerys, anywhere else yet, although we have seen some of her influence in other places. We've really only been seeing her at Dragonstone. And there are a couple of really epic shots of it. I love, obviously, this one where you sort of have her in the battle room. She's considering, she's thinking. There's also a really beautiful shot of her walking on the beach, which again, like, I feel like she's just kind of figuring everything out right now and planning her next steps and is really calm and collected. That's what I'm getting from her.
I'd like to think that she gets there and she's been like, oh man, there's a lot of pressure. Like there's that, I'm finally here like, oh man, this is a lot.
It's like, I have to do this now.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm here and I have to.
People have been waiting 6 seasons for this to go down, and now it's like, oh man.
Well, and speaking of it going down, it goes down.
It goes down.
So we see some great stuff with the Lannister army and with her Unsullied. And we're pretty sure the Unsullied are in the Red Keep. There was one quick shot of this in the previous trailer that we saw too, and we came to the same conclusion then that they have snuck in, let in their brothers, and they are like taking it down.
Oh, that's so amazing. Look at all those guys. We also see not just the Unsullied, but we've got that great shot right there.
Lannister army.
Lannister stormtroopers.
Oh my gosh, they do. They kind of have like that stormtrooper helmet shape. Oh, come on.
The problem is they're facing off against dragons and Dothraki at once, and so that leads to the question of like, how though? Like how when you've got a dragons and Dothraki like storming the gates, like what's the strategy?
I mean, look at their faces. Their strategy right now is like,
well, okay, that's we might not make it out of this one. We also see ships on fire and a character leaping from the ship, and it looks like it might be Yara.
We see a lot of battle.
Yeah.
This trailer shows us some epic battle.
It kind of looks like that we're getting a big battle between Dany's troops and Cersei while Jon is dealing with White Walker stuff, which kind of bums me out because I'm all on board for characters meeting each other. And I feel like if Jon's like, hey, we're going to have to try to take care of the White Walkers ourselves, like that's a waste of time. And you know it is.
I feel like we're all going to get there though. I mean, they don't want to give away the whole season of this trailer. So they're probably not going to show us like where the season is going so much as where the season starts.
Yeah.
So in my opinion, I think we're going to get, this epic fire sea battle that we have in this photo here.
Yeah, and we got catapults hitting the sails and everything. It looks like the Battle of Blackwater Part 2.
Yes, Blackwater Part 2,
Strikes
Sans
back.
Wildfire, plus
Wildfire,
Dragonfire. You also have, the battle that we saw in the day, like in the Fortress in the Red Keep.
Yeah.
So I do think we're going to get some really epic battle sequences.
The
Dothraki and the dragons on open field. So, I mean, right now we have three shots that could potentially be from 3 different battles just in that early confrontation between Cersei and Dany.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is amazing. And so then we see the dragons here. We got to see that picture of there's some more of those great ships. And whose ships are these ships? Whose ships is these?
We don't have. It's not like we've seen these ships before and have the concrete answer. We do think they belong to Euron Greyjoy.
Right.
We know from that actor that Euron, who, in case you aren't super caught up, is Theon's uncle who killed Theon's dad.
Whoops.
We put up a spoiler warning. It's fine.
No.
We know from that actor that he has a big part in this season and that he will supposedly be playing a villain character on par, if not exceeding, Ramsay Bolton.
Oh, that's amazing.
I do think there's a good chance that he would sort of align himself with Cersei, especially since Yara and Theon are aligned with Daenerys, and we know that they've left since he ascended the throne.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the Kraken squid monster deal is 100% Iron Island's sigil.
Yeah.
So
I like that everybody has skin in the game here. Like everybody's getting involved.
Yeah.
I hope they do have like a special horn or something and they can actually summon a sea monster up. I would like we need a sea monster. We've had dragons and mammoths. It's sea monster time.
Did we learn nothing from the Third Pirates of the Caribbean movie? We don't need a Kraken, guys. Let's not swallow the ship with a Kraken. Let's just
go ahead and leave it
let
be.
the fire do it.
Yeah.
So now that we've gotten to see these awesome, so next we get to see some ravens, and not just any ravens. What's going on? What's going on with that eyeball
This
there?
specific raven has cataracts. And it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate, but it
veterinarians
happens.
in Westros were killed at the end of season 6,
happens,
and now
you
they
know?
haven't been able to
this
chase
case,
any of the animals. It's been a really tragic time. PETA is up in arms. No, we're kidding.
Yeah, well, it's interesting because this looks like this is one of those blink and you miss it. Like his eye goes white, and it appears that Bran might be warging into one of the crows, if not multiple of the crows. Although every time the White Walkers, I've been rewatching the seasons, and every time the White Walkers show up, all the crows in the area have a panic attack about it and start flying around. So maybe this is that. Maybe these crows are being weaponized. and Bran's like sneaking in one.
It could be because next we have this. Oh, that great shot.
Yep.
All right, so y'all know who that is.
He is creepy. That is the Night King.
Yeah, the Night King. Do we think we're gonna get backstory on this guy this season and understand where he came from and what his deal is?
I just imagined like his childhood, like the Night King's born and his dad was mean to him. Like now his life is really hard.
Yeah.
I don't know.
To school, he was kicked out.
I feel like we got his backstory, which is like Children of the Forest created him, and now he's bad.
That's right. I almost forgot about. That's right.
Yeah, you gotta get up on your rewatch too.
You gotta. Yeah, there's so much in this. That's why you have to take this like frame by frame because
literally
so
frame by frame.
So much Game of Thrones.
But so yes, we've got the Ravens, we've got the Night King, and there's Bran.
There he is. Hey, buddy.
Oh, I really missed you.
There's Bran's nose.
I'm so glad you're alive. So Bran is currently working.
He's got a nice wheelchair.
This is the shot, though. For me, this is the shot that I was like, stop the trailer. Bran is in Winterfell. Because that is the Winterfell Godswood, which we know because we saw Sansa there like 10 minutes ago at the beginning of the trailer. And because we've seen it multiple times throughout the history of the show. Yeah. But Bran is in a fancy new wheelchair, which like Mira probably didn't make for him north of the wall. That probably came from like the Winterfell Armory. He's back home, which means Jon will learn his true parentage because Bran knows all the secrets. So I really think that like Bran's arrival home is going to happen early in the season. It's going to catapult so much stuff. Also, who is he talking to?
Who was he talking to?
Who's talking to?
That guy? Who do you think he's talking to?
All the old men at Winterfell are dead. A.
Yeah.
B. Personally, and this could be super wrong, and you can let me know in the comments if you disagree with me, I think there's a good chance that it could be the Jim Broadbent character that still has not technically been announced, but we all assume is Maester Marwyn because we've read the books. He's a Maester that definitely like has the Maester ear from behind, and I really think it looks like Jim Broadbent's ear.
Guys, let's take an analysis of Jim Broadbent's ear and see and break that down.
So there we go. We've got Bran, we've got that ear, and so now we've got some other characters that we get a chance to see doing things they have there. We've got Arya.
I feel like they have to. I feel like some editor somewhere is like, well, you got to put in a shot of Arya because every trailer has one shot of Arya, sometimes two. It's like you got to have a shot of Arya. We don't know what she's doing. They don't want us to know what she's doing.
He's murdering people, probably.
Probably murdering people.
This is
really well. Like some high content murdering.
This is a character that I really want to see hook back up with the other characters. Like, I'm ready for her to be like, I'm ready for all these characters to start reuniting and being a team, being a family.
Yeah, that's a good point. I am too.
Yeah, I'm ready for that.
Especially this, she doesn't have a badass companion this time.
Also, she still has Needle, which makes me really happy. John's gonna be like, oh, you kept my present. She's gonna be like, I love you, John.
She's like, seriously, it was a lot of work to keep this sword. All right,
I went through
way too much effort. Yeah,
stole it back from a dude, killed him with it. It's
so much work for that needle, and so which is that she's so big now. Like, does that even make anyway? So she's just like she's an adult person size now.
Oh, Littlefinger.
So we've got Littlefinger.
Yes. So Littlefinger, again, this is the only shot we see of him in this whole trailer, and it is like half a second long. Yeah. But we do hear some voiceover from him that we talked about a little earlier with Sansa, and we know what Littlefinger's endgame is, which is get Littlefinger on the throne.
Yes.
That to me makes him a really dynamic character, and almost not knowing what he's doing is more interesting than knowing.
I feel like he should grow out his mustache more so he could do this number.
Twiddly ends.
Yeah, like that's his role in the show is like, oh yeah, I'm the guy.
But he has an ultimate plan, and I feel like so far things have like gone to plan for Littlefinger, which is kind of scary.
So this
is my favorite shot of the entire trailer. That is Beric Dondarrion, because the music takes a dip and he holds up a sword and then it lights on fire. I'm like, that's the coolest. That's the coolest. It's just the coolest moment.
So cool.
Let's all hope. I feel like if you can spontaneously light your sword on fire, that thing should be able to take out White Walkers, right? Like whatever's going on there, that should be a White Walker murdering weapon.
I don't know.
No, I feel like the audience is not supporting this.
It would murder like the living dead armies that the White Walkers use that they burn alive. It would do that.
It's a fire sword.
Yeah, I think unless it were dragon
and he's got the eye patch.
Can you harness the power of dragon fire? Maybe if he has like a tank that like the dragons are breathing into.
Oh,
like,
now I want to see a tank.
Yeah.
All right. So next, speaking of tanks, if you ever play some RPGs, look at who we got here.
The Hound. I was really worried about him. I feel like we haven't seen him in any of the promotional materials so much for this season. There was one shot of him in a behind-the-scenes trailer, and that's been like it. Yeah. So I was just really excited to see him here.
Yeah, it's just really nice. It's just for like a little second. We see him in the snow. And then kind of lastly, for these shots that we've picked out, we've got these two right here.
Brienne and Podrick. I feel like you can define which characters are going to be meeting up based on how much snow is in the shot. So now I'm starting to think that like the Hound and Brienne, I would like to see the Hound and Brienne meet up again with Arya and be like, wait a second.
Oh, right. So
I thought this played out differently. Hold on. How are you back?
So where could they be? Where do we think that they might be?
They're definitely in the north.
Right.
It honestly, Winterfell had some destruction. This doesn't look like Winterfell that we've seen before, but the wood back there does look like it could be newly constructed.
Yes.
So potentially they could be at Winterfell.
Yeah.
But I think there are a couple of other, sort of like trudging around locations that they could be that maybe we wouldn't be able to define yet.
No more trudging, man. I'm tired of trudging.
Let's like to trudge.
Let's have them all united.
Well, we're
all
getting there.
Out.
I think we're going to get there. So
I
now,
want a big like Last Supper painting with all the characters. Like, hey, we're the ones that made it.
Avengers Infinity War, but like actually just Game of Thrones. All 32
just,
of
like,
them in one scene.
Yeah.
Yeah.
By the way, I feel like the one feeling I got from this trailer is that Jaime's definitely not going to make it. It's a vibe I got.
I can't disagree with that vibe.
Like he's charging into battle. There's definitely dragons on the other side. I feel like Jaime's a goner. Speculation. I don't know.
Well, okay. Let's do some more speculating now that we're in super speculating mode. So we've gone over some of the kind of the major points. There's also a lot of little things that are super interesting, and if you went back, you saw that. So now we're ending with Sansa's final narration, which is when the snows fall and the white winds blow, the lone wolf dies, but the pack survives. Whoa! What does that mean? What do we think that means?
I mean, for me, the theme of this trailer is like unity and togetherness and war. But you do have a lot. You have sort of the same message coming from Jon, which is that we all have to band together and like fight this common enemy. And for me, I feel like this is something Sansa's saying to her siblings. It gives me a lot of hope that the Stark clan is back together and that Sansa will in some way be leading and inspiring them to work as a team.
Yeah.
Also, I think Jon probably wants to like go fight some people.
I also would like to think that, because it wouldn't make any sense, I would be very frustrated as a watcher if Jon dies again. So the lone wolf to me says Jon, and perhaps it's, instead of it being like a prophecy, it's a reference to like, he already did it, he already died, he's back now, it's okay.
But also, if we're talking about lone wolves, we have to talk about the Stark that's had no other Stark interaction since season 1, which is Arya. Like, if there really is a Stark that's a lone wolf and still has a lone wolf, because where is Nymeria? She's in the Riverlands. You could also have sort of like Arya being that last epic Stark death that really propels the Starks.
We're really, if the pack survives, I feel like you need at least 3 members for it to count as a pack.
Well,
and it's 3 men. I think, and Jon's kind of on the outs. He's not technically part of the pack, so I'm thinking you need.
And he knows that now.
I think we can't lose any more Starks. I'm thinking we're
literally, George R.R. Martin is laughing at you from his house right now. He's like, oh, you think I'm about to kill any more Starks?
Yeah.
He's just literally going to watch that and he's going to kill Starks
just for that.
Well, with his fake British accent.
You're welcome, everybody.
All right, so that was just such a huge download of information. I feel like my brain is full of very, very happy things. So now that we've gone through that and we've seen all of those, we've been promised by the showrunners that these last 2 seasons are going to be cinematic in scope. It's going to be like watching, a movie every week. From what we saw, does it look like they're going to be able to really they're going to be able to keep that promise to us?
I think so. For 2 reasons. First of all, I think that you have some incredibly beautiful shots and wars and battles and dragons and things that you haven't seen to this effect in the show. Of course, we've seen dragons before. Of course, we've seen battles before. But oh my gosh, the teeth.
Yeah, he's got extra teeth coming out over his teeth.
There are teeth on his teeth. Yeah. I think that they've kicked it up a notch, and I think that they understand that their fan base expects a lot. And I think they're fully planning to deliver a lot. Game of Thrones doesn't really do the under-delivering thing.
That's a true story. What do you think, DJ?
I'm a little bit concerned. It looks epic. It looks amazing. But the more they've emphasized stuff like event episodes like Hard Home and stuff like that, or Battle of the Bastards, which are big, epic, amazing episodes, the kind of the character interactions and the scheming have kind of taken more of a backseat. So with as epic as the season appears to be, I'm really hoping especially now that characters are reuniting, I hope we get just as much time spent on seeing these characters interact, seeing these characters plan, seeing with Cersei and more of her machinations of trying to maintain power and stuff like that. I don't want that, because to me that's part of the appeal of the show.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that goes hand in hand with some of the clearly epic and amazing stuff we're going to be getting.
I completely agree. And I think when you look at some of the very specific single shots of characters in the trailer, they do have a very deliberate cinematic quality to them that I think they are trying to tell a story through their cinematography. I mean, even the first shot of Sansa that starts out that trailer, it looks so similar to the same shots that you saw of Cersei and Dany and Jon in those long walk to the throne promos. And it sort of suggests that Sansa too is on this power journey. I think that they're really trying to tell a story with their shots and their characters.
That's amazing. This is amazing analysis. You guys are so rad. Thank you for hanging out. Thank you for telling us what you think. But now we want to hear what you think. What was your favorite part of the trailer? What are you looking forward to? And do you think that this is really going to feel like a bunch of 1-hour movies? Thanks so much for watching. Please click here for more internets. Tweet us at SJ News. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button down below, and we'll see you next time. Bye.